officially 3:30, so I'm gonna call this building committee meeting in order. Guys, please pledge allegiance to the flag, with me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Scott, I want to go around the room just to introduce ourselves. I'll start. I'm Sean Dean. I'm on the select board here in Madison, been a resident most of my life. I was charged with chairing this committee. Welcome to all of you.
I'm Denise Ducharme, I'm the town manager. Thank you for all of you coming by.
Stephen Poor, been here for about 40 years.
I'm Christy Seeley, and I lived here all my life.
Randy Griff, I've been here about 16 plus years, and I'm living well in Madison.
Jeff Drew, I'm the code enforcement.
Mary Tomlinson, I'm board and the treasurer of Madison.
Derek Rosenwell, I've been about 11 years in Madison.
Melanie Weston, I lived here for 18 years, left for 16, and now back for about 16. And I'm also your contract calculator for the big contract. Lily Forbes, librarian, lived here every day of my life. Can't believe it. And I'm on every committee I can think. I said too bad, I'm not leaving. I thought you'd think that.
Travis Bent, I've lived in the area most of my life, except for a few years.
Lisa Woody, starting my 14th year living in Madison.
John Harlow, I'm the station manager for Somerset Community TV and board president of West Madison Arts Council. I went to school in Madison, but I'm from Madison.
We won't hold that against you.
Sure. I'm Cheyenne, I'm the town clerk. I'm also the living law coordinator, among other things. I'm helping Julie with the grant for the library.
Shirley Dino, born here, not leaving. I'm with the Historical Society.
Riley Mercier. I grew up in Skowhegan, but a lot of my family grew up in Madison, and I've been living here for a couple of years.
Okay, welcome everybody.
Oh,
Sorry, Don. Yep.
Don French, Madison.
That's all right.
He needs no introduction.
Okay, welcome everybody. This is our second official meeting.
Yes.
Business we have to get down to. Number one on the list was a reminder of meeting frequencies. Meetings will initially occur once a month and then be scheduled as needed. We thought it would be really good to go once a month now while we try to put a 5 or 10 year plan in place for the buildings we have. Just so everybody knows, if you don't know, we've got the East Madison Fire Station, Madison Town Office, the Town Garage, this building, and the library. So those 5 come into the town's jurisdiction. If we want to come up with a 5 or 10 year plan, start with a 5, work on the 10 as we get down the road on what needs help now. Please introduce individuals interested in volunteering.
Yeah, no, we just did that. Sorry. Took it out of order.
All right, it says assign committee members to specific meetings.
Can I ask a question first?
Yep.
Okay. I know why I'm on this committee, but I'd like to know why, especially the new folks, are on the committee. Steve, would you start?
I'm almost a year retired now, and I have a lot more time than I used to back when I was working. And I thought I'd do what I could to help out the town, because I like the town.
Thank you. Okay, I'm here. partly because of the Historical Society, because I think that's something valuable that this town happens to have, and I want to see it preserved. And I'm a citizen here, and I'd like to see a lot of the other buildings preserved and not torn down. Go ahead, Randy. We'll just...
Well, partly from being on charge of the advisory committee and getting sort of oversight of what's going to happen through this part, also with living well and how we're trying to help the town.
Jeff?
Well, as the CEO, it's kind of my job. So
You are a facilities manager.
Since I'm on the planning board, I'm concerned about which direction the town is taking, and I'll also be on the budget advisory committee, where the costs involved, and especially going forward. This is a great town, and I'd like to see it stay that way and do what we can to improve it.
So I've always loved being involved with the community, and I've got almost 20 years of building maintenance experience, so could be a good avenue.
Thank you, that's great news.
Before I returned to Madison in June, I had 10 years experience working in historic preservation and historic trades. And a lot of my job was doing building assessments and specific long-term planning for building maintenance. So I figured that could be useful. And as a citizen of Madison, I've been really disappointed to see a lot of our historic structures being torn down. And that was the one why I went into historic preservation in the first place. So,
Am I on this committee? Is that the question?
Yeah, because you don't have a choice, I
Well, it makes sense to be on a committee when one of your buildings is involved, and I've worked for the library for 25 years, and I've done my level best with grants and other avenues of repair works, and a group that don't repair them, since two-thirds of basement walls on the outside. Ramp is really the last glaring problem. There's always going to be repair and maintenance. The building was built in 1906. It needs to stay where it is. It needs to be a library forever, I feel. Originally, when Carnegie doled out the money for libraries, it was with the promise that you would keep that building a library, and even though he's long gone, it would cost us so much more to build another building. Is it ADA compliant? No. I mean, we can get people in the building, can't get people downstairs, but we do our best. And also, I love this town. And I love old buildings. I appreciate how expensive they are to maintain after working on maintaining our library. Sometimes, you know, you have to really look at how much it's going to cost. And if the value is there, then we continue. And then we see what we can live with and what we can let go of.
you have a follow-up?
Good, that was my question.
I'm somebody that plans to be here at least for the next 5 to 10 years. So hoping to see the town do well in the next 5 to 10 years instead of just personal reasons.
I retired early in life and I'm looking for something to do. And part of the charm of Maine is that there are such beautiful architectural pieces still left. There is absolutely not. I came from Florida where if I saw one more fake stucco building, I was going to scream, and I lived there for many years. And I absolutely just loathed it. So it is so beautiful to see. And I'd like to be involved in helping the community somehow. This is one small thing I can do again.
I'm here because I work in the town and support. I can't really express my feelings or my opinion into the way this committee goes, so I will not be sharing any opinions. But I'm happy to lend a helping hand when it comes to grant writing, taking notes, or anything to move the town forward as a whole. So.
Here as a citizen, I love Madison, it's my town. one, 2 streets down the road, which is school here, and we want to try to preserve the history of the town and keep as many old buildings as possible. We've got a great little town on the river.
So I've come to work here in this building every day for the last 12 years, which is sometimes hard to believe. But I'm on a lot of boards and committees and I volunteer a lot, and I thought since I come here to work that it would make sense to be on this committee. I also echo the sentiment that many others have expressed, that I value the historic nature of the buildings in town, and I would like to see them preserved and given the maintenance that they deserve. Yeah, that's pretty much it without going into a lot of other stuff that doesn't matter.
I am a helper and Denise put out the call, so I'm here, and I love community as you all do, so it's very important to me.
You're not sure. I have a couple buildings and I'm being the fire chief. I got 2 stations and I need to keep the upkeep. Plus I'm really concerned about all the other structures in town to make sure we keep them up to where they should be.
Jonathan, you want to just introduce yourself?
I'm Jonathan Burrows. I'm the facilities manager for Scout and Savings Bank.
And what is your interest in coming, working on this committee?
Basically, to help the town get in a good position financially as well as structurally for our buildings.
I'll follow it up. I wasn't born here, I was born in Bedford, but I've lived here all my life. Went to high school here, I went to school in this building, the Western Robin building that's no longer there. Smashed around school, the old junior high that got torn down. And then went, the first class that graduated from the new high school. Being on the select board was important to me because I wanted to give back to my community and help. And being on this committee, chairing it, means a lot to me because I want to see Madison flourish. I also want to see us save our history and move our town forward. You want to say anything?
I think that's great. If you would just, if you haven't already signed in, the sheet's going around, just sign in for us, please, so we can.
Off key a little bit, in our last meeting, we are not looking at closing any buildings anytime soon. We want to look at the structures, where they need help, come up with a game plan on where we go with the buildings we have. We need to address, if anybody doesn't have a copy of this, I think we've got more.
I've got 2, I've got mine and that one. And I think we can get a couple more. Yes, I have it digitally. If anybody, if you want a copy of the Plymouth engineering report that they did on the 5 town buildings, just email me, townmanager@madisonmaine.com. You guys all have my email address. And I will get you a digital copy so you can look at it. This kind of basically goes over what the structures are currently and where they can use improvement, where they're good and solid and sturdy, and what we should be focusing on.
Sean, if I could just add to that. I think one of the main reasons to have such a diverse group on the committee is to be the facilitator for the real information of what we're doing and what we're not doing, so that it doesn't take off on a Facebook page and turn into this crazy rumor. And then, the next select board meeting, you've got 50 people saying, you're never tearing down anything and we hate all of you and we're going to recall you all. That's not helpful. So I feel like part of my job and anyone else who's on the committee is to communicate the information that we're allowed to communicate to anybody who asks. They're like, hey, what are they doing? Then I can say, hey, well, I I know what they're not doing right now is tearing down Old Point Avenue School. And they're like, oh, okay, well, I heard, so it's good to get the actual information.
And that rumor has been out there.
Yes,
Well, I
transparency.
mean, somebody
Yeah.
said it, so it's not like it's totally baseless. I'll just say that.
It has been mentioned.
Yeah, it
That's
has.
correct.
Well, I mean, the possibility of having to tear down any structure anywhere in this town is there. Is it on the table at this point? No. That's all we can, that today, it's not being torn down. Not mind readers or psychics. Do our best.
And at the last meeting, we talked about some stuff that'll be coming up. But I know the East Madison Fire Station is in pretty decent shape. I know the only thing we talked about was putting all the deflectors in front of the doors so the building wouldn't get hit. I know the firefighters been careful of that. We did some.
Those are those posts?
Yeah.
So why don't they care for it?
Cheaper to repair a building than it is to repair a fire truck, I guess.
The object's not to hit them.
I get that. I get that. We also talked about the town garage. Jeff has took it upon himself to fix some issues we had down there. There was some cracking of some doors that they're gonna do in-house. That building's in pretty decent shape. The town office, and that'll come up in a little bit. We're looking at trying to rewire the whole building because it's outdated with wiring and Wi-Fi compatibility right at this point. The fire station part of it, we're looking at possibly trying to get some grants and secure enough money somehow to build a fire station next to the existing fire station on the town-owned property where it is, because the fire trucks are much heavier than when that building was built, and they're cracking the floor underneath the fire trucks back in.
And they're getting bigger and the doors are not moving.
Yep.
The doors are not getting bigger.
This building, we've done some work already. I think Jeff and the crew came in and they put the rug down over the old floating floor.
Oh, the floating floor's gone.
Yeah, it's nice, I like it, much better.
It's much better. There's more in the entryway.
Sounds better as well.
It does.
And library, we are looking to get a grant to secure getting a new mobility ramp. And before that, we're also putting a parking space on the Old Point Avenue side to allow for handicap parking in that area so they have easy accessibility to the ramp. That ramp is, where was it,
40 years old.
40 years old.
I think they did it when they did the renovation in '84.
Yeah, it's concrete, rebars started to show, it's breaking away. When we do that, we're gonna have to do some drainage in that corner also.
And ultimately, to have an automatic door, because not only do we have, and some sort of rigid awning above the door, probably six feet out, because it has to be 6 feet flat. And it doesn't make sense for a person in a motorized wheelchair to be in front of the door and try to open the door. It's impossible. And we have other people who can walk behind, but they cannot manage the door, so we have to have at least one door that is a button and a push on and blow it open. Right now, parking for the ramp is on the opposite side of the building, because we have no option. Library setup.
And the current ramp we've got actually loops around towards the house, it's on the backside, on Old Point, around to the front. So we're trying to figure out a way we can design it so somebody can park right on Old Point, get access to the ramp. We discussed that with the town. They were gonna reach out to the DOT and figure out what it would take to put a parking space in that area. If we move on to number 3, assign committee members to specific buildings. I don't know where they go.
Well, let's see who's got an interest. Julie, you want to be on the library committee?
Well, I was just gonna say, I think it makes sense for the person whose building it is, for them to be on that particular subcommittee. they're the most familiar with their property. Again,
All right.
dying for fire. Yes? Is there anybody that has a particular interest in being on a particular building subcommittee?
I'd like to be on this one, no point.
Old Point, okay,
Me too.
okay. John Howard. Shirley, do you want to be on the subcommittee, or do you want to just be an observer?
I'll be a floater for now and maybe join up.
All right,
What do you mean by a subcommittee?
so we're
We're not
not,
gonna all discuss each individual building?
all, however many of us are, up, 20 people, we're not going to talk about every issue for every building as one major group. We're going to break into smaller groups, and that group will discuss the ins and outs of the library, the fire station, Old Point Avenue, town office, the highway garage, and then we bring a report back to the full group.
Plymouth Engineering did that, didn't they?
No, Plymouth Engineering did a structural study, so now we have to decide, okay, those people that are going to take on the fire station, you're going to talk about what are the priorities. Not only do you have a cracked floor, but you have doors that are not wide enough. You have, the things that Plymouth Engineering identified, now we have to set priorities for them. And what are we going to do for plans to correct those issues? Plymouth Engineering didn't give us the corrections.
Denise, I'll do the library.
I'll do the town.
Okay.
Anybody else? Town office, fire stations, town garage?
I can help Don with the fire station and anywhere else really if needed.
Can I ask what may be a dumb question? Do you guys already have like a schedule for major like capital improvements on the buildings, like roofs, boilers?
It would be nice if we did. We
We
do
don't have a
not.
budget for that.
Maybe that's a discussion we need to have, like in 3, 5, and 10 year.
Well, generally for like 5 to 10 years, that's what something,
Yeah.
okay.
The roof that was just replaced in the library, my best estimate was 80 years old.
How old?
80.
Most of the study came back, most of the roofs were in decent shape. They're gonna need some work soon. Most of them that need work are the flat roofs. They're still secure, and they can still read where the contractor put their markings on it, but this one, and I believe the town office is, I think the East Madison Fire Station got a new roof, just
Just did, yeah, just did.
This year.
Yeah.
Well, actually, last year, the end of '24.
Yeah, the
Yes,
town-
you're right.
The town garage roof
This
is,
fiscal year.
There you go. Within the last year.
Thank you.
What about the town garage?
I think the roof on that town garage is good, according to the study. Yeah, there was only minor stuff, there was some cracking concrete up above the doors and some small things.
Garrett, can I put you on highway also, on the town garage?
Yep. Randy?
So I guess my question is, can you be on more than one subcommittee?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
I'll do this building and town office fire station.
Okay.
Anybody else?
That's the town office for me.
You put me down there,
I did.
all right. I'm willing to help on the others.
I don't feel like I have any specific expertise over and above my building, but if anybody needs help with grant writing, I've written a ton of them, and I have no problem helping with that.
That's gonna be big.
Lisa?
Wherever the biggest need is. Like, I don't have any expertise. I did TV 30 years.
You did what?
So,
Good, maybe we can have some,
yes.
little sound bites or something.
Oh, I do.
To communicate, I mean, that's what John does, it's Channel 11, so
All right, I'm gonna put you on the library in Oak Point Avenue right now.
Sounds great.
Thank you. Jeff, you're on everything.
And I can do more if you need help.
Okay. All right. All right.
What do you like?
Oh, you haven't picked a committee yet,
Well,
a subcommittee.
my expertise is in building maintenance
Mm-hmm.
and infrastructure such as data and voice.
Oh, that sounds like town office. Town office and here. All right, Steve. Oak Point Avenue and town office.
Which one has buildings?
Right now, the East Madison Fire Station has Donnie and Derek. And the highway has Jeff Wright and Derek.
Those also have like police.
Those are,
Police
those are
station.
low hanging fruit.
Yeah.
You just put me right,
And where?
put me right in.
Okay.
Well, right now, the town office has the fire station in it, so it's the main place.
Melanie, I'm gonna put you on library with your historic focus. That's a great
I've
place.
also done a lot of community projects.
Okay.
If any of you people that are really good at writing grants, do some research into grants for fire stations. I know Donnie said there's some out there. I know we've got Norwood's plan here when they built their new one, it cost 1.05 million. I'm sure it'd be higher than that now, but I think we got a grant covered for the
Yeah. I'm trying to think when it was.
What's up?
2015, so it's been almost 10 years.
Really?
So what are the current plans for the fire station at this point?
I didn't hear this question.
What are the current plans for the fire station at this point? I mean, it says here, a new freestanding fire station. Is there any location been looked into, or?
We own, if you go down Western Avenue where the town office is, just beyond that, we own that area.
Heading
There's one
towards
more house
Parkfield
that's-
Street.
Right
There's a
next to
house
the
lot,
fire
that's just
station.
grass.
Right next to
Where
the,
the police station used to be.
Yes, yeah, where the old building was.
Right.
If there's enough room. I've measured, but I don't know, we'll see. We gotta see where we're gonna go and just what we're gonna build. And
Okay.
the hope is because we own the land.
That usually makes it a lot easier.
we, the town, should have bought that next house over. We had a shot years ago and we didn't. Why, I don't know.
I wasn't in charge yet.
That's a problem.
Hey, if we're buying buildings, then I have a few that I want.
The one next door to the library.
Yes, so you can tear
As
that.
soon as they don't pay their taxes,
I
we'll
know,
have
but
it.
they're very good taxpayers.
I know.
You know, and someone, I think someone lives there, I'm not sure, but, and it was a beautiful building when I was a kid. It had mahogany woodwork and everything. So it would be actually a beautiful secondary location for historical society as well. But we are very, very, it's tight quarters between the library and that building, so that will directly impact how the ramp is constructed.
I think,
But since I want to make it clear to the camera, I'm not suggesting we tear down the neighbor's building.
Understood.
Just saying if they don't want to live there.
if you and Cheyenne possibly gonna make, write grants for us, probably should be on my committee too. It's really, and I'll be on yours if you need somebody.
I think
If it catches on fire with 60,000 books, we need you to come,
We'll be there.
put it out, and don't break the window,
No, oh, no.
because they're new.
No, we won't do that.
To you, Donnie, I did some research for you, and what I had found was that for the funding for the fire departments, most of it comes from congressional funding. It's not a lot of grant funds, they typically supplement the congressional funding.
A year or so ago, we had about 8 days to come up with congressional earmarks for projects that were shovel-ready, and I'm like, 8 days? Come on. So there must be a way to find out when that cycle comes through and to have something ready to present to Susan Collins to bring, so that maybe we can get that funded. I think though, sanitary district got something like
Sanitary
that.
district got something up.
And,
And the town is sitting on $1 million right now, congressional funding, but it's for the biodigester at Timber HP
right,
with the sanitary district. But I think in answer to that concern, Julie, if we can put something together before they make the announcement
exactly.
and have it, so that all we gotta do is plug in the who, what, when, and where,
Right, yeah.
that would be the way to go. Because like you said, you don't get a lot of time.
No, if they release, they do this press release, and you better be ready.
You have your specifications quotes ready.
If for some reason we can't get a grant, or if the town doesn't want to purchase a new fire station, that's going to make their decision different from what they're going to do. If we go out of there and they're going to have all that space for the town, which they need the space, so we got to kind of
Do it all at the same time.
do A before we do B, and
Right.
not jump onto B to know what A is going to do or whatever.
So as far as the town office goes, and I've been thinking about this, and I haven't brought it up to anybody yet. I'm not sure I want the camera rolling right now, but I asked for it. I asked transparency and everything. The sheriff's department has office space downstairs, and the majority of those rooms are empty. So in the event that we need to expand town office space immediately, or, even temporarily, we've got some place that we can go. We don't have to make the town office the priority because it's critical, we're running out of room and everything else. We've got, I think there's 2 or 3 lieutenant offices that just have a desk and a chair and nothing else. So, I'm happy to take that to the sheriff and say, we're gonna confiscate some of your office space. We pay for it anyway.
Well, we have a town employee that doesn't have office space, that is working out of the school.
Yes,
Most of the time.
and we could put Danny down there in a heartbeat. And he basically would have access to the public if we can get that door where the public can go in to,
Down behind.
yeah, down behind where they go in to see Sharon. Yeah, we could make that excellent point.
Is there any space in this building available?
You've got this room that's the meeting room, the election hall. There's another little room across the hall that is used for WIC and a company called A4TV, which is Associates for Training and Development. And then there is upstairs, that whole end of the building is basically for the Historical Society. This side, besides the bathroom, this side is Channel 11. And then downstairs, there's some basement space available. West Runset Arts Council, and then I think there's some vacant space.
There is
downstairs.
vacant space, yeah.
But no way, no.
You gotta-
ADA compliant.
You've got to keep in mind that whatever space we want to utilize, it's got to be handicap accessible.
Right, well, that's why I was curious. It doesn't sound like your options are very wide. But that could also be a problem using downstairs where the town office is right now, too.
Using the downstairs where the town office is now, it is handicap accessible. I mean, you go in the door and it's all level, there's no stairs or anything like that until you get to the bottom of the stairs that go up to the town office part. So, somebody could come in there,
Through the police department.
through the police department, thank you, yes.
Well, if Danny,
Okay.
it's, for instance, if Danny had a permanent office space,
Mhm.
he could always use the break room upstairs. If he had to meet with another person who couldn't, that needed the ADA compliance,
Right.
because the
They can come
threshold
in.
at the main level is also
ADA.
The back door, lower back door is ADA.
I believe so.
But then it's locked because the police or, sheriff department is behind that. And you have to go through the sheriff department to get to them.
It's good security, that's.
Yeah, I guess, for our rec director anyway,
Yeah.
yeah.
Downstairs, though.
What's that?
The bathroom is ADA accessible downstairs.
Yes.
about the doors?
Nothing, so basically nothing. So, I mean, it sounds flippant and sarcastic, but we're working on it, we're trying.
Yeah.
But when you really get down to brass tacks, I don't think we have one building that is completely ADA accessible, top to bottom. None that I can think of, maybe highway.
I don't think so. They would not have an ADA compliant bathroom, for sure.
Well, and their bays are so tight with all of that equipment that you can't really get a curve.
Right.
I think most of the findings that Plymouth did, most of our buildings were ADA compliant.
But they were all built before the 70s.
Right.
You know, when it was mandatory.
I know they were talking about this building that we needed to put an elevator in, it's just,
$300,000.
Probably more than
Can I ask you something? Could you put a stair climber up the
No.
stairs or anything like those? I consider those don't classify.
And the stairwells at the library are wide enough for that, even if it did. Because you have to have railings on both sides.
That's scary.
More
You
money
need more
than-
space, you need a lot more square footage to put an escalator.
Now that everybody's sad and disappointed and discouraged.
I'm not discouraged.
Good.
one of the major things I wanted to bring up was heating. We spend a lot of money to heat this building and the town office. I know this building, we need to redo the windows and some other stuff. So we're not using as much. I think the boiler in this building is quite old. I think it's in a separate part out here right now.
It's downstairs outside of the broken wooden fence.
When you say quite old, is it over 15 years old? The boiler? Because if it was less, you could get efficiency.
Something that the library is running into, I had a conversation with the finance department a few years ago, when Jim Curtis was town manager. Switched the library and a couple of other buildings over to Summit Natural Gas. And some of our bills, they'll charge us over fees if we don't pay them at the day. So all of those go into the first one, and the library has one at the end of the month. So I haven't been seeing those bills. But she shared that one of the bills was $800 for fuel and $800 for delivery. So, yes, and the pipe is there. So we're looking at maybe potentially having to review other fuel sources that might be more, save the taxpayers some money.
Is there any documentation of repairs and maintenance that have been done on individual buildings?
There will be through the invoices.
Because I think that seems to recur, we're like, well, when was the roof done on this and that? Maybe if that could be something for the committees to kind of tackle, is to say, okay, this is when the roof was done on Old Point, and, you know, I remember it right maybe before I came around. Just different stuff to help us see where we're at for each building.
Jeff, you and I can work on that. And we'll try to get that for the next meeting.
I can go through my town, my librarian's reports, although you have the ones since you've been hired, but I can go back through the librarian's reports for the last couple decades. And give you just kind of some bullet points of when things were repaired. Because I don't remember exactly when.
If anything's over 30 years, it's time to be repaired or replaced.
Well, I've been
That's
here for 30
normal,
years,
but that's
yeah.
normal for
Yeah.
this
You better
facilities.
bring the news to Jack, because I'm over 30.
The other thing we talked about, the town office, we had looked at doing heat pumps in there, but with the electrical configuration at the current point, we can't. So in the winter, we run oil there, and then in the summer, we have air conditioners stuck in the side of the building, so.
And not all of those even work.
Uh,
Not all of them work.
They are loud.
So that's one of the reasons we were looking at the town office to update the electrical, which is old.
I did do a cursory search specifically for electrical and found nothing other than efficiency main, and those very specific things.
Yep.
I think another thing, well, who got cut off? Someone's going to say something. Is something that I've just been thinking about between now and last meeting was identifying areas that are grant eligible. So like the windows here, an efficiency main, or some kind of green, or I don't know about energy efficiency or something like that, and then just different niche avenues of grant applications where you're more likely to succeed, because I know for some things it's like, oh yeah, you're a shoo-in because you meet this, this, and this.
And that's like the ramp at the library. Cheyenne and Julie are working on, and that's one of the items coming up, but they're working on grant through AARP.
Yeah. And
Specific to.
I would think there's got to be some, and I would help look into the windows here. Definitely is a major thing that I have noticed, and I know it costs a lot. So many single pane windows all throughout this building, especially this annex part.
When you look at Maine Community Foundation, they have a lot of restoration grants. Like, it would have to be very specifically written, because this isn't just the Historical Society building. We use it for elections, we use it for select board meetings, but it was originally a school, so there may be some grants out there. I don't know if you're ever going to find a grant that would fund everything, but it might fund it just for that area. I don't know. They're very specific. The key to ever getting money with grant is to write it exactly for what they want, are getting money for.
That's kind of what I was getting at,
Yeah.
is if we find the one that's like, okay, this is the one for us.
Yes.
Is there anybody in this group that feels, oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
That feels competent to do that kind of a grant search like that? Cheyenne? Yeah. Cheyenne and Melanie, you guys want to work together on that?
I'd certainly look into it and I'll forward stuff to you guys too.
All right, moving on to number 4, follow-up on cost estimates for library ramp. Another thing to keep.
I need to talk to Keith. I tried calling him, but I'll get in touch with him.
Table?
So the specifics for the grant, we need the specifics, and the grant is, deadline is March 15th or 5th?
Yeah.
For which grant?
For the $25,000 grant we're applying for, to hopefully defray some of the costs of the grant.
Okay.
So if there's any way to get those numbers, please to Cheyenne, by the end of the month. It doesn't have to be exact, you just have to know.
I think it's all back estimates.
I think we
Not just replacing the bridge part and not the actual sidewalk part.
and the rail.
Has anybody looked into having the ramp originate from a different location and end in a different location than where it is right now? Because if you have to rebuild it, that's the time to make those changes.
We only have 2 entrances to the library. They're both about 6 or 7 feet off the ground. We have the main entrance where we have 8 granite steps and a granite platform. And then we have, what I think was originally a window that they took out and cut a hole in the wall and built that ramp in '84.
So really, they didn't make a good decision when they made that.
Well, it lasted for, I was gonna say it lasted for 40 years. It really lasted for about 30 years.
Well, yeah, but the location isn't that good to begin with, because
At
like
the
you said,
time, I
it's not
really
near
think
the
that they
parking.
were, if we look back 40 years, what we were looking at was someone being pushed in a manual wheelchair. That's what we were looking at. And it was like, okay, the grade and the pitch, or whatever those special words are, someone is with this person, they're gonna get the person to the top of the ramp, there's a 6-foot flat area required, they get the door open, the person goes in, wheels themselves in. Fast forward 40 years, we have people with all kinds of mobility issues, whether they're using crutches or walkers, or a motorized wheelchair, or what have you. And years ago, people couldn't even get in a car without someone else if they were wheelchair bound. Now there are vehicles where you just open the back hatch, drive in, and drive yourself around.
Right.
So I think that it fit at the time, and now, thankfully, there's so many more people with mobility and issues who can participate in their society, and that's why it's not working anymore.
I think you'll, if you looked at the location where the door is, if we get approval to put the handicap parking lots in, it's a good location. And where it's yeah. Well, I don't know about that, but I guess it depends on if we have to do any more major grade and drainage work, because that's what's causing some of the issue with the ramp, is heaving.
Oh, yeah.
So there's obviously some settling that's happened over the years, and it's obviously causing some issues with that. So that's what we've got to look at once the snow goes as well, so we can get in there and assess it.
Because I would be thinking that the parking lot issue and the door issue would be the number one things to look at before even considering replacing the ramp. Because make sure that if you're going to replace the ramp, that it's properly terminated on both ends.
Well, we have no parking lot.
Right now.
We have on-street parking only.
Right.
So, and then we have sidewalk, and we don't have a cut-through, so anybody who gets out of their vehicle on the Pleasant Street side has to go all the way to the corner of Old Point and Pleasant Street to get onto the sidewalk, and then they have to get onto our walkways, and then they have to go around the ramp that goes around half of the building.
Yeah.
So,
There's basically 4 parts to this. There's the actual ramp itself, the grading, and then the parking, and then the electrical handicap door opening for the building. So that's the 4 issues that we really have with that ramp. It's not
we
just
have
the
enough
ramp.
lawn
Right.
on that side, on the Old Point Avenue side, that we can cut into the lawn to get parking, and that'll make it even closer to the ramp.
And I do understand that because of the height, that you do need the distance from the ramp.
Yes.
Because of the grade.
Yes.
But for parking, we have to have DOT approved to set that from the road.
Right.
Yeah, because you don't want to build something and have them decide they're going to widen the road out and then take away your parking space.
And it has to be so far away. It's not the 4 feet or whatever it was years ago, it's like 15 or something.
Because of the size of the road.
Not that far,
It's not,
no. There's a tree on the property line.
but you get 2 cars in there, you can get a parking spot.
You could get them in, but then people would have to go out because the ramp has to be so long because it's so far off the ground.
That is quite a height.
Yeah.
I think we were talking about one vehicle parking space.
Parallel to the road.
To give them room to be able to maneuver
I
around.
mean, if there's enough room to put 2, it would be much more expensive to add the extra parking space, but 1 would be good.
Unless there wasn't a house next door.
Hey, hey,
Then we'd have our
we're
own
not
parking.
tearing this building down and we're not bothering those people who love their house. Thank you, Julie.
I have a question. I don't mean to be completely ignorant about this, but what about the church parking lot?
It's
Is
not
that-
a public parking lot.
Right, but has the church been approached at all to, is it possible, since it's not being used anymore for what it used to be, that they might be willing to work with the town?
I'm not
An
sure.
arrangement that-
We haven't, I know we haven't approached them. It is tight. There's also a storage shed there because we used to have fuel tanks in that storage shed. We use it lawnmowers and storm windows and that kind of thing. But we also have, the ramp comes out like this, and directly on the other side of that railing is a little concrete structure that looks like a little tiny house, because that is the exit for the basement, and it was built out from the building. So we can't go that way unless we go this way first. And then it's unbelievably far across the back lawn to get to the church parking lot, which is a private parking lot, because people have, when I've said, you know, can they please plow the road before we go to work? They say, well, why don't you park in the church parking lot? And I say, 2 reasons. If the road isn't plowed, chances are good the parking lot isn't plowed, and the parking lot doesn't belong to the town. And they do run their thrift shop there, and they have, I think they have some church functions there. So it's worth asking, but it is unbelievably. I mean, we might as well have them come from Pleasant Street. It's almost the same distance.
I just know that when I first moved to town, I went to the library, I parked in that parking lot.
Yes, and you're allowed to.
Right.
You're allowed to.
Right.
And people do use it. But I don't know if they would want, I know that the interactions that I've had when we've had construction done, they're very specific instructions. They don't want liability issues and those kinds of things. When the roofers had their equipment on the flat surface instead of on the lawn, they contacted me and wanted cones and insurance information and those kinds of things. So you can certainly explore that, but I don't think we're going to save any space, and I don't know if that would be a major amount for that.
So the library property borders that parking lot?
Yes.
So my thought is that a lot of things have changed in the last few years. I think we were in a much different place than we were 5 years ago, 8 years ago. That, you know, maybe things can be worked out. Maybe they don't have need of such a big parking lot, or maybe, you know, so that it could be incorporated, that maybe we could find unusual, I mean, the property size is the property size. And the home is owned by someone, not the library.
Right.
But those circumstances do change sometimes, and maybe
Right.
hope not.
Right. So if either one of those sides, you know, are willing to work with us, I just don't know how long. The back lawn is a lot longer than it looks.
You have the Mead Memorial out there too, the military names, architects probably there on.
Yes, we would probably be using the property line, the edge of the property. Because we have to get around that way. You're welcome.
All right, move on to number 5, follow up on library rent application. I think we kind of touched on it.
We've written it.
Sorry, I was just,
No,
I've
don't
always
be
been
sorry.
interested in that building anyway.
Yes, it's a
It's a
beautiful
gem.
building. I love it. I love it. It's wonderful to work in. Every once in a while, I'm still reminded, you know, I look up and think, I can't believe I work in this building. So I appreciate your interest, everybody's interest.
So for the flagship grant application, the flagship grant application is one segment of a grant series that AARP does every year. After the building committee started, I had been looking around trying to find one that would fit. I read through, it's specifically to make buildings in the community more accessible. So I reached out to Julie, she was obviously interested. So Julie and I had met, we had put together, written a grant. We pretty much decided, okay, this is what we're going to say, and I have it typed up. Right now, we're just waiting on some estimates. So it's something that we're talking with you, John, but other than that, we said it's for $25,000, and we didn't pay for anything specific, just that portion to go into whatever we need to spend.
And that's why I forwarded the letter of support to Denise so that she can send it to everyone's email. If anyone's interested. I don't know how, if you want written signature, you can do a screenshot of, or it's important.
Well, I think Sean and I would sign it, Sean as
Right.
chair and me as town manager.
Yes. So,
Yeah.
once that's done, Shane can include that in the application.
I have a pretty good relationship with the priest. at the church. So I can have a conversation with him about the parking lot. But I think the liability is the big issue.
Well, I'm not talking about just borrowing.
No, no.
I mean, could you work out an arrangement
We
where
would,
you
the
buy
town
the,
would have to,
right, where the town takes
You
over
said
that part?
6 years from now, somebody else takes over and we lost what we had.
Yeah, that'd be the issue.
Well, right, so if we,
But
if
the
you
way
actually
you're
own.
talking is making something so that it would be locked in.
Right.
yeah,
Not
exactly.
just a
Right.
handshake deal, but.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, it's not too far a bridge to ask a church to donate.
Oh, they're not gonna donate it.
But you see what I'm saying? Like, maybe there's an option there.
We could start there.
We can start on the gym. I can have that conversation.
I need to go pick up my kiddo.
Okay. Thank you
Have a
for,
great day.
thank you for being here.
Bye.
But I can follow up, at least get some information on that. Okay, I'm sorry, number 5.
Sean.
Yep,
Kevin.
good, right.
So I've done a little bit more research on the grant itself. The award rate is about 10%. So, state of Maine had 10 awardees last year, 11 the year before.
Looks
So,
like it's our turn.
huh?
Looks like it's our turn.
Maybe, but also, they rarely award over 15,000. So, hopefully, it's our turn
I'm
to
optimistic.
break that.
If I'm applying for a grant, I'm applying for the full amount.
Yeah.
They're either gonna give it to us or they're not.
Yep.
And at least we can take it to town meeting and say, we asked for 25,000 and we got it, or they gave it to another deserving organization and we have to take it out of capital funds, but we did due diligence.
Yes.
I've asked for money from Stephen and Tabitha King. I've gotten 40,000, I've gotten 50,000, I've gotten refused a couple of times. So, if I've learned anything from grants, is ask for what you need.
If you don't ask, you don't get.
It's 30,000 for the ramp itself, we have to still do the door and the parking, and some kind of awning so that we don't get fried with the electrical components.
You can apply for multiple grants from one contract, so this
Yeah.
is just a portion of it.
But we have to have a sound structure, because it's not going to be too long before somebody over there says, you can't let anybody on the ramp anymore.
Even though they say it's rare, it doesn't mean it's not impossible.
Exactly.
I've got another meeting to get to, but it was great to meet everybody.
Thank you, Melanie.
I'll see you next time.
So we've dealt with 5. Before we get to setting the next meeting, I want to open it up. Does anybody got any questions, comments, concerns?
I'll get a copy of this book and look through it, and I can
Okay.
have a better understanding what's going on.
Can I send it to you electronically, or do you want this one?
Oh, no, I'll take
Electronic?
it. Yes, I prefer a
Can I send a
PDF.
copy of everything electronically?
Absolutely. Why don't I just do that? Is it okay to share everybody's email address? Okay.
Mine's
All
pretty
right.
confidential.
I know, mad fire. Sorry, did I just give it away?
And not a
On TV?
Yeah, no,
Comments, concerns, questions, anybody?
Are we gonna continue to meet as a large group monthly and also have our individual meetings?
I had you on this building and the town office, but I added you to the
I think we
library.
need to meet as a large
Okay.
group, but if you guys want to talk about your
Pick
specific
what you
buildings,
want.
through email chain or something.
I think that works better for a lot of people. This is my 3rd meeting this week, and we had Monday off. So, we all have email.
I would say we do the subcommittees before we meet as a full committee again.
I don't know exactly what's on the room.
How do you do that if you're on more than one committee?
Well, I'm gonna send this all out to everybody. Like Julie, you're gonna be in charge of the library committee, library subcommittee.
Now we've got,
I think we ought to go back around with that list and put everybody's phone number and possibly email on it too.
I've got everybody's email and I will share that.
And if we want to share phone numbers on the emails that were in the subcommittee, we can do that with them.
All right.
So who's in charge of the rest of the fire chief would be?
Okay, sorry, I started and I'm dropped the ball, thank you. All right, so for the library, I've got Julie, Riley, Lisa, Melanie, and I added Steve because he has expressed a particular interest in that building. The East Madison Fire Station, I've just got Donnie and Derek. Old Point Avenue, I've got Christy, John, Randy, Lisa, and Steve. The town office and the fire station, I've got Denise and Dawn, Jonathan, Randy, Derek, Travis, Steve, Cheyenne, and Julie for the grant piece.
That includes everything, that's my department too.
Yes, that's why town office and fire station located in the village is you and me on that and others. And then the highway is Jeff Wright and Derek. You could have been on any committee. I am, town office. But that's all right.
You can do these, man. Yes.
Highway.
You can do Old Point
Just
Avenue.
put the East Madison Fire Department and Fire Department together as one.
That's not a bad idea.
What's that?
Because East
I think
Madison,
just put East Madison and Madison Fire Department together.
yeah, I'd put both fire departments together.
Especially if you're
All right,
buying
so-
equipment or something.
All right.
The other thing that might make it easier is if, I mean, it's up to everybody, but if we join two committees, we join two committees that are together, so that way we can all get together and meet on those two committees.
Yeah.
If we're gonna do other meetings, it might be easier, and you can get together, hash out one building, and then hash out the next building, and then bring our stuff back to here.
That's a good idea.
It's 3:30 work for everybody.
Works better than 6, that's for sure.
Yes.
Especially in the wintertime.
Yes.
You want to set, do you want to set the subcommittee meetings for a month and then do the full committee in 2 months?
Well, are there any time constraints that,
Yeah, this grant application's gonna be in by
March 5th, yeah.
Oh, we can get this.
I'd rather the whole committee get together before 2 meetings.
Okay.
I think if we do the subcommittees and then we do this whole committee a week later.
So I'm comfortable doing subcommittee work by email. Is there anyone here who wants to meet in person?
absolutely.
Yeah, I think some.
actually, I would love to meet you in person, but I can come to the library at any
He's
time.
come to the library.
That's what I was thinking.
Everybody know the building, we're going to get into it.
Right.
Understand where the issues are.
Absolutely.
And the other thing is,
Maybe-
like, if they are thinking about a future fire station, you gotta understand what their wants, I mean, there's needs and there's wants, but you gotta understand both.
And there's requirements as well.
And there is, yeah. So a lot of those, unfortunately,
So instead of setting the actual subcommittees here,
Yeah.
can you send us all this information, the list of who's on which committee? And then we can, like, my library committee, I can say, come to the library on this day.
Absolutely.
I'll show you the whole library and you'll have the thrill of being one of the few people who can go in the balcony.
Same with
I
the
believe I said that
I'm here.
Yeah.
Joined that earlier.
You very flexible there?
I'm pretty flexible, yes, as long as there's not an emergency, yes.
No, we can. We'll go together.
Okay.
Once the subcommittees will meet like March 12th, and then all of us get together on 26th. Or a week later.
Is that a Wednesday?
Wednesday, yeah.
What is the date?
March
We did,
26th.
we did the subcommittees on the 12th. Do we want to wait 2 weeks after that, or we're going to
Let the subcommittee set their date and time, but just set the date for the
March
full committee.
26th.
March 26th?
Is that what you're saying? Yes.
It's a Wednesday.
Yeah.
So 3.
Yeah, because whoever is on the individual committee, they can just decide what works best for them.
No, the subcommittees are gonna set their own dates and
But it has to
times.
be
and-
before the next meeting.
But before the next meeting,
Let's do the 19th.
3/19, a month from today.
What day is that?
Wednesday.
So we're gonna stay with Wednesdays?
Wednesdays at 3:30.
And the subcommittee will meet before that.
Yes.
And once I get everybody's number, I'll make the arrangements for
Yes, you say when you're available and whoever's on your committee comes to the fire station.
Yes.
Plug her
I
in.
think Denise is gonna do up, you're gonna do up something with the committees.
Yes.
and then send it out so everybody knows who's on the meeting.
Yes.
Is all the meetings gonna be here now?
No. Well, I'm sorry.
The full meeting?
The full committee meeting will be here.
The 19th will be here.
Yes.
And then depending what subcommittee.
So, you meet at the location.
Yeah.
I will not be here on the 19th, but we can watch it video, right?
After that. You going someplace fun?
Well, New York, yeah. Thanks.
So is that it?
No, we still got 25 minutes.
So did anybody have any questions?
No. I would encourage you, once you get an electronic copy of the Plymouth findings, to read it, especially if you're on a subcommittee for that certain building.
And if anybody wants this, for their tactile reading, yes?
Anybody else wants it, I would.
Go ahead, we can pass that to Lisa.
And there are a few discrepancies in some of the reports, because like it says that the rank of buildings is up to 6, and that's not true. So in the subcommittees, the person responsible for the building can correct any inaccuracies.
To me, that's not an issue, is that what we meant to use on some sites.
Well, you're talking about the crack in the
Yeah, so
cement?
that's.
Get another one, Travis.
I can.
All right, anything else come before the committee? Need a motion to adjourn? Second? All in favor? Thank you everybody for coming, it was nice meeting you all.
No, I said done.
Oh.